Hey everybody. A member of podcast editing school asked if I'd do a video review of WT Automixer by Wavemark. I've been testing it over the last week to see if it's something that I can recommend to other podcast editors. Let's take a look and see what it is and how well it works. From the website, experience WT Automixer V2, the audio solution you've been waiting for. It's a multi-channel, gain-sharing auto mixer with a built-in leveler, compatible with most DAWs and plugin hosts as VST3, audio unit, and AAX plugin. With WT Automixer V2, you can effortlessly silence unused microphones while fine-tuning active ones to hit the perfect audio sweet spot. It's a must-have for live streams, post-editing, talk shows, and any multi-microphone setup. But that's not all. V2 has exciting features like DAW automation, a ducker, and an auto mixer noise gate. Best of all, if you already have V1, the upgrade to V2 is free. Enhance your audio game with WT Automixer V2, where simplicity meets audio excellence. Don't miss out. Discover the difference today. This all sounds good for podcast editing, especially if you're dealing with mic bleed from recording in person. Or you're like me and work in Hindenburg, who refuse to give us a strip silence feature. But at $160, it needs to do a good job to justify that cost. I'll give a couple of quick demos, but this isn't going to be a tutorial on how to set up or use WT Automixer. Like any other leveler I've used, the wider the range we set for the leveling, the more apparent it becomes. Because of this, I do tend to stick to around plus or minus 3 dB. This is similar to what Smart Comp offers with its input writing feature when it's turned on. I'll start by showing the leveler. I'll play the raw audio followed by the audio with Auto Mixer enabled and then with Smart Comp enabled. This will allow us to hear how well the two perform as levelers.
Okay, so now once you have gotten more background about where people are, and frequently they're going to be on opposite sides, how can CEOs and top leaders create more civil discourse with those of opposing views? Okay, so now once you have gotten more background about where people are, and frequently they're going to be on opposite sides, how can CEOs and top leaders create more civil discourse with those of opposing views? Okay, so now once you have gotten more background about where people are, and frequently they're going to be on opposite sides, how can CEOs and top leaders create more civil discourse with those of opposing views?
And I should mention or go over the settings in Smart Comp. So we've got the threshold set around -40, 1.8 to 1 ratio, and I have input writing on. Input writing should give about the same amount of leveling as 3 decibels on the leveler range on WT Automix. To my ears, the results are fairly comparable. So here's how it does on mic bleed. We'll start first by hearing the mic bleed, and then we'll adjust the noise gate.
That's why we're speaking today with Amy Showalter, a grassroots and political action committee influence expert who founded the Showalter Group to help associations and corporations increase their grassroots and PAC effectiveness. As an expert in political influence, Amy has galvanized thousands of grassroots evangelists and staff for her clients who want to advance their cause politically. Amy is currently a columnist.
So we have to dial it into about -40 dB for the threshold before it starts to really gate the mic bleed. It's still there. So if this were me, I'd still be cutting all of this out because I'm just kind of picky about that. I don't want any of this contributing to reverb on her voice. But let's try something else. Let's see how SmartGate works.
Hi there, Pam. It's always great to join you for another episode of Growth Igniters Radio. And as
Okay, now that we've trained it, let's go back. Let's see how well it works on the noise.
That's why we're speaking today with grassroots
The SmartGate is cutting out most of the mic bleed. It's just the really loud sections where it's still opening. We could probably dial in the level bias a little bit and fine tune that. So that seems to have dialed out most, if not all, of the mic bleed. Got some louder bits here. Let's see how that handles. So it's still going to open on the really loud parts, and that's just the way mic bleed is. If you're going to use any kind of gate, it's not going to eliminate all of it, because the other voice is going to get too loud at points to be able to gate it out without gating out some of the voice when we want it open. So we've looked at the leveler, we've looked at the noise gate. Let me know what you think. Like I said earlier, I've been testing this out for a week to see how well it works. In use, I was expecting a smarter approach where it would completely mute mics that don't have a voice, but it seems all we get is a gate, which most of us already have. I might be missing something, but I couldn't find any reference to anything I'm missing in the manual. The leveler, it performs well. The results feel smoother and more transparent than what I've gotten with Wave's Gain Writer, and having a look ahead feature definitely helps here. But overall, I just can't justify $160 for this plugin just for editing podcasts. It doesn't do anything special other than putting together a gate and gain writer into one plugin. But I can see the usefulness for someone who's running a live stream that might have multiple people or mics, though. But for me, it only takes a few minutes to cut away the dead air, or to use SmartGate, or both, and then turn on the input writing in SmartComp and get similar results. There is one other reason, though, that I can't really recommend this plugin. For me, I need reliability and longevity. On the WT Automixer website, there's a big banner alerting us that Shure is going to acquire Wavemark. The press release was dated September 20th, 2023. Shure hasn't been in the plugin space before, so it's tough to know if they will continue development of the plugin long term. They did update it at the end of April 2024, so it is, for now, still being developed. My concern is that Shure bought the technology to roll it into their other products, not because they wanted to enter the plugin development space. I wouldn't be surprised to see WT Automixer sunsetted in the not-so-distant future. Is this a plugin that piques your interest? Would you pay $160 for this? Let me know in the comments below. And in case you're not familiar with Sonible's SmartGate, which, in my opinion, works better than any other gate I've tried for dialogue editing, check out this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.